Yeah. What up? What up? What up? What up? That's a little Tekka. Shout out to little Tekka. He the real king of New York. Real king of New York. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me stop that real quick. Yo, what's good? What it good do? What it good do? What's up? What's up with y'all? Hey, we are. I mean, you know where you at, y'all, right? You hope you know where you at. If you don't know, now you know. Uh, you know what? I should keep it going. How about this? How about this? Let's do this. Let's do this. It's another joint I like. Hold on.
Wolfgang, where you at, man?
The sun rises in the east, but it sets in the west.
West side going up the double.
Yep. What it good do, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, man. This is Set in the West. This is Wolfgang Amadeus, y'all. Y'all know what to do. And special guest in the building. Where you at? I may have to change it, right? Hey, you there? There she go. All right. What's good? What did good do? Okay. Do I gotta unmute you now? You gotta choose to mute your mic yourself. All right, y'all.
Okay, I didn't realize.
Let's get
Yes,
busy.
what's going on?
Welcome to the set. We got Jaguar right in the house. What's good?
Oh, I'm still kind of flabbergasted.
Why is that?
Honestly.
Why is that?
Because I was watching Boss Baby Morgan's channel, and I saw that he had the Sugar Bear on there, and the Sugar Bear. I'm confused. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm very confused by the Sugar Bear.
If y'all don't know what it is right now, this dude, Suge Knight, I saw him last night on News Nation, and I hipped you to it, right? As far as what he was saying on News Nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said he had a few things to say about Capricorn Clark. For those who don't know who Capricorn Clark is, she had just testified in a Diddy trial, and she had ties with Death Row. She worked with Death Row once upon a time, and then she worked for Puff, obviously, because she's in the case, and they're talking about her when it came to the whole Kid Cudi situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But she seemed to, I don't know, is it me or she just seems like the biggest victim in the industry right now, or at least one of them.
Man, look.
I mean, to go from being like, you know, to have to be forced to do, you know, the professional things
Uh-huh.
that the adults do
Uh-huh.
because of a busted windshield, was it? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you gotta go ride along. You gotta do a ride along like a police explorer with Diddy to go boom boom. Kid Cudi, who wears Nirvana bride dresses on Saturday Night Live, like this is insane.
Right. Yeah, that you already know what that was about. But no, look. Yeah, she well, this is according to Suge. Suge said this last night.
Was it? I don't know. Was Saturday Night Live with Kid Cudi licking the door, waving the 4-4? All I said was, "Diddy, don't hurt me no more."
I'm saying that was Kid Cudi, according to the case. Kid Cudi was getting ran down on, and you know that whole situation is very sad. But like you said before, Suge was saying that Capricorn Clark had some relations with Reggie Wright, and it was almost like on some Epstein type of issue. This is according to Suge Knight. He said that Capricorn Clark busted out a windshield or something, or back or a window or something, and Reggie Wright was like, "Well, you broke
Get
my
down.
window, right? You gotta bust down. You gotta give me some of that Capricorn."
Drop and give me Nick.
And she said, "I didn't want to f that fat fool, but she did." And Suge is just going in right now. That's
My
really
thing
going on right
is
now.
it's gotta be bad when you gotta get smashed out for like Against Your Will by Reggie Wright Jr.
I mean,
Wheelchair or not.
oh man,
Sitting or standing.
sitting or stand. Wow. Oh man, that's something I don't want to even imagine.
No, it's really like traumatizing me. Honestly,
it pretty much is. It's a sad case, whatever. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna get into this video where in fact and my bad, I put Simeon. It's Simon. Simon says, not Simeon.
No, I thought I thought that was like a sneak diss because of the salt in the mouth thing, the meat, the salty meat.
Kinda, yeah, but
I mean, if they could have threw in a couple of Brussels sprouts, it could have been meat and balls.
I mean, meat and potatoes, man. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get a man a whole meal. Don't just sit there and snack him off with some meat. You a show, bro.
No Diddy, but you know
Yeah.
you can't put
All
no
do
meat.
Diddy implied.
no meat going on in my mouth. I don't know what Piers was on.
Apparently he was on the good meat stick lollipop. So yeah. I'm sorry. Is it just me, or has like Piers Morgan Uncensored become like the hip hop? He done
turned into Vlad.
Yeah, like it's looking real Vlad.
Yeah, he turned
with
into
a suit
Vlad.
and no
Right.
drum set.
Right. He is turned. He had Ray J on yesterday. Oh, and Suge has something to say about Ray J. Look,
Wait a minute. You let me know when we can talk about racial.
here's what I'm gonna do. You already know how I get down.
Listen to me.
You know how my production is, right?
Secret lovers. Yeah. That's what they are. Trying so very hard.
I'm good. I'm good, thank you.
Well,
How are you doing?
Every day is a blessing. One thing about God, it continues to make us better.
I'm gonna run a little bit of the audio this way, just so that we're on the safe side. You get what I'm saying?
You might want to speed up the voices a little bit too.
I know. I wish I can. Hold on.
And, before we get started, is that I got on this journey, and the reason why it's so important that I feel we should always help each other to get better, to do better, because my journey got messed up from people in the music business.
See, he's already going
And a while
in.
back, I had got into it with two rappers in 91.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can just forward a little bit because I kind of know the timestamp. He starts to go in on no other than. I mean, okay. Before we get started, Jag.
He hitting the whole family up. The only person he didn't mention was Brandy.
Right. He got the cousins, the uncles.
Yeah.
Man. So
Johnny,
let's
Ronnie, Ricky, and Mike.
Mike and Bobby too. Yeah, so look, if y'all don't know, I'm gonna run this video. I'm gonna run this audio actually where we got Suge speaking to Piers. And Piers is just like looking at he's like, oh my God, the look on his face is it says a lot, but what Suge is saying says a whole lot. So
Do you know what that says?
what's that?
I need to take a long walk off a short Piers.
All right, look. I'm gonna start here because this is where he goes in, and if you want me to pause, I'll pause it.
Cosby go because the fact that he's had an agreement verbally. Mine is in writing by my attorney, Howard Price.
About Cosby's case,
It says that I don't supposed to have no strikes.
and Suge's
They
felony.
still haven't granted that to me.
Suge's felony.
But the sad thing about all this, regardless Puffy, regardless Easy, regardless me, and it was just a situation where when you create something so big and bigger than life, people want to take it from you. And if they can't take
Right,
it from you,
so Suge, just to jump in, what you're saying, because for viewers who are not familiar with the intricacies of your situation, in September 2018, you pled no contest to a voluntary manslaughter in a fatal hit and run 3 years earlier. Your conviction, along with the previous felonies, triggered California's 3 strikes law. You got a sentence of 28 years in prison. You'll be up for parole in October 2034 when you'll be 69. And what you're intimating there is that one of those strikes shouldn't have been on your record. Is that have I read that correctly?
Neither one. Neither one of those strikes should be on my record because I don't supposed to have any strikes. Also, they had proof of the guys with guns. They got proof of tapes where Andre Young paid these guys to kill me.
Wait, who? Wait, what?
If I'm correct, isn't that the government name of Dr. Dre?
That is. Oh man. What now? So my thing is, okay, why did he mention him? Wow. I mean, that's what the street's been saying though. But
you know what's wild? It's just, for me, the whole thing with the connection that hits so close to home with that, because I understand it was a LA thing, and I understand that, what Suge is saying is very, but a lot of people don't know that the person that passed away is actually kin to someone that's close to us. So this whole thing, it gets really surreal.
Yeah.
And even Charleston White's involvement with that same kin.
Mm-hmm.
The brother that survived.
Well, the brother that survived, you remember my OG, I took you to meet the ex-Panther. That's one of his guys. The brother that survived. So, it's a lot of degrees of separation when it came to that. But yeah, the streets kind of already knew that that's what it was, because they were doing the last little bit scene of Straight Outta Compton over there at Lewisburger, right there on Central and Rosecrans, and that's what that was supposed to be. They're supposed to take, allegedly, let me just say what the streets are saying, that they're supposed to have taken Suge out. Then
I know.
And he saw it, and he had to do what he had to do, But now he's just Lady Classic. It's deeper than what people think, for real.
A lot. A
personal
deeper.
check, $20,000 here, money there, and they all agreed they was paid to kill me. And the fact that if you really look at the whole situation, it started with One Oak. Same people at One Oak got shot 7 times. Same people at Tams tried to kill me. Same thing if the FBI says it's a price on your head, they want to kill you. So when somebody tries to kill you and you get away, how did I end up in prison? But the most important thing about this, they denied me to go. They wouldn't let me go per, but David Kennett, my attorney, did the most crookedest thing on record that you can possibly do. And this is a guy who's getting this, they're trying to disbar him in 24, 25, 21, and they never reported that to the courts or to me. But past that, the situation is this. A lot of crooked cops got involved in hip-hop.
Pause. Now, wasn't we saying this already? I think we've been saying this.
I know. You want to know, it's just wild. It's like, we keep saying things, and then people act like we didn't say anything, and then somebody comes back and says the same thing, man.
Number one, you can't be lying. You see the situation that happened where everybody thought you was tripping when you made up the Cassie thing, right? Allegedly, the video, and then what? The video comes out, and then, I'm just saying.
I'm still trying to understand when someone is going to actually listen to the testimony that's happening in this trial right now and say that I kept on anything that I said. I have been forced in the hospitals to prove my sanity. I have been jailed for reasons that made absolutely no sense. And everyone kept saying the same thing. She's insane. She keeps making up things about entertainers and celebrities that she doesn't know. And yet Everything I've said, they've been repeating in court.
So I think the audience should start paying attention to when you're saying things about the Soto police and the cartels connections. Like, come on, y'all. Suge is saying something that we've been knowing on the streets for a minute, as far as these crooked police being involved in hip hop.
You want to know what's even crazier? What Suge just said that might be flying under a lot of people's radar about how where he pled no contest in California, strikes were put on his record that weren't supposed to be there and that weren't there.
Exactly.
Kind of like Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
Having that gang enhancement added to something that never even happened.
Right. All right. Let's move forward, because y'all, we're gonna put the pieces together for y'all, because he's saying everybody, but he's not saying the boogeyman. But we're gonna get into that.
Those same crooked cops, I felt that cost me my freedom, cost Puffy his freedom for now, cost a lot of people bad situations. And I think that they cost the most biggest two rappers in hip-hop history, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Small, their life. Everybody points the finger at everyone, but it all comes back to the same authorities. Even
as you know, Suge, look, you mentioned Tupac.
He jumped right in, didn't
obviously,
he?
it was 1996. I mean, incredible to think it's nearly 30 years ago when he was shot and killed. You were alongside him in the car. Many people have speculated since that Diddy ordered that death of Tupac. Is that your belief?
Well, first of all, I got a bullet still today, a 45 bullet, an inch to my skull. You can look at my medical records and see the x-rays and see it's in my skull. They didn't remove it because they said if it would have went another inch, either I'd have been investable or dead. Now, as far as what they say Puffy did and didn't do, just the facts. The facts of the matter is this. It's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr. Who was over security. He didn't work directly for Death Row, but he had a security company called Right Way Security, who did security for Death Row with off-duty police officers or guys with a CCW. Everybody knows when we go to a fight in Vegas, we're going to be at the Tyson fight, or we're going to be at my club they call Club 662. You can go to that club and you'll see Mary J. Blige perform, Jodeci performs, Tupac performs, Snoop and the Dogg Pound, Andre. I mean, unbelievable talent in one place. That night was going to be Run DMC East Coast night. Reggie Wright Jr. told the security they can't carry firearms. The sad thing about that, Pac hated Reggie Wright Jr., so he had fired him before any of that. I don't know the right date, but I'm quite sure it was. It's paperwork that shows it. But the crazy thing about that, it was a bodyguard named Frank Alexander. Pac hated Frank. He was cool at first, but towards the end, he hated Frank because Frank always wanted to get in the pictures with Tupac. And Tupac was very militant, so he was like, man, I don't want a bodyguard taking pictures with me. How is he watching my back if he getting himself in the pictures? So I hired a guy named Michael Moore and told him to bring another off-duty police officer because they kept their gun and they was real aggressive by protecting Tupac. So on the way to the fight, Reggie Wright Jr. tell Michael Moore he can't carry his weapon when he's doing bodyguard work for Tupac. Michael Moore said, well, I'm going back to the hotel. If I can't carry my gun, I can't protect myself or Tupac, so I'm not going. So Reggie Wright Jr., who nicknamed that Pac gave him Pork Butt, so Pork Butt goes and says, Frank, you can go, but you can't bring your gun. Now, everyone knows You can't be a bodyguard without a gun. So after the fight, we come from the fight. Tupac got into it with another guy. It was a big fight. After that fight, after we stopped to a few places, we go to my house. I told Frank, I told all the security, I told everyone, Pac just beat up a well-known gang member. Send 4 or 5 guys extra to the house to escort Tupac to the club. Reggie Wright Jr. refused to send the security guys, refused to show up. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a murder for hire hit.
Okay, we got to pause. Commentary. Fair use.
Fair use. Go ahead.
Fair use for the illiterate.
Pause for the calls. Go ahead.
Now, Reggie has been running around for years, heralding himself as a Tupac fan, a Tupac loyalist. When have we ever heard Reggie bring up the fact that Pac actually fired him?
Never.
And he didn't get his job officially working for Death Row until after Pac died.
Yeah.
Even though he was heralding himself as Death Row security from day one, pretty much.
Right.
Okay. So let's just be clear. What we heard was Suge accurately pointing out that not only was Reggie Wright Jr. not actually the head of Death Row security, but he impeded Pac having an ample security detail while he was in Vegas in the middle of a confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
On the weekend of the Mike Tyson fight.
Right.
When it was going to be pandemonium regardless.
Right.
So pretty much I've been right about Reggie when I said he ain't nothing but a liar and a snitch.
Right. You have.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't true.
And there's some other revelations. Hold on, we're gonna get going.
It was more than one shooter. Only person know the truth, the real truth, is me and Tupac. He's not there to tell it. Only person knows is myself. But Reggie Wright Jr. tried to change the whole story of the narrative, what actually happened, and he was not there. During that situation, Snoop, who everyone knew at the time, wanted Tupac dead. Snoop had a meeting with Daz, Corrupt, Nate Dogg, the Dog Pound. Said, we're not going to Vegas. This is their words, not mine. We're not going to Vegas.
Facts. And Warren G said the same thing.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. Weren't you saying the same thing about this whole situation?
Warren G sat down on Peer Pressure Drink Champs, and he was talking about the night that Pac passed.
Yeah.
He was having a fight party at his crib, and he invited Snoop, and Snoop had told him weeks before that he wasn't coming because he was going to Vegas for the fight.
Yeah.
Then, the day of the fight, Snoop pops up at Warren G's house, Warren said, out of nowhere, and said, hey, I decided to change my mind and come and kick it with y'all. And he said that the entire night he was there, he seemed preoccupied, and he thought that it was strange that he kept checking this chirper. And those chirpers were long distance, like, walkie-talkies, like two-way pages, kind of. The Nextel.
Yeah.
They said he had a chirper, and he said he was, he remembers when Snoop got the word on the chirper that Pac had been taken out, and he said he thought it was strange because he knew it from the chirper before it even hit the news.
See, he's gonna get into that. Look. Let's keep going.
Something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna get killed, right? So, Corrupt tells the story. Daz tells the story. Warren G tells the story. Now, what Daz says, when Snoop said that, I said, damn, we can't go to Vegas. Who's gonna get those niggas? They already gonna get got, basically. Corrupt tells the story and says once he tells everybody they can't go to the fight and can't go to Vegas, turns around, Nate Dogg says, I'm going to go to Vegas. Yeah, because I'm going to Vegas, I don't got to be around basically me and Pac. He said, as long as I ain't around them, I don't have to worry about getting shot or getting a stray bullet. That lets you know, premeditated plan. Warren G says, when the fight was going on, he was watching at his house. Snoop came over to watch the fight. Snoop had a walkie-talkie. These walkie-talkies, he only got this walkie-talkie that I bought for security and the principal that security doing security with. And they worked on all the West Coast. So if you're an artist and you going to the mall or you going somewhere, they have a walkie-talkie, security have a walkie-talkie.
So let me pause there. See, yeah, because you were talking about that, and now I'm realizing what that was. You know, they give people, they'll give certain people the technology before it's widely distributed. So this was 5 years before, or 6 years before, the whole Nextels thing came out with the chirps. You remember those, the chirp phones?
That's what Warren G said Snoop had.
Yeah, and they were not like widely distributed. So what Suge is saying is, of course, he had access to the technology first, and you know they do that. They'll give it to particular people who own companies, and that would make sense because the chirps. I remember you'd be able to hit somebody on the chirp, kind of like it didn't matter where they were. You know what I'm saying? Not matter where they were, but it wasn't like, see, the way they implement stuff, the satellites and all that, and the cell towers. If it's not a global thing, it's regional. So like what he was saying, it's just subjected to the West Coast. So of course you could get information, or you can get it from Vegas to LA to the Bay Area, because you know the way it was set up. So yeah, like at the time, you know, people. I didn't know about this technology. I didn't know about that. I mean, like he said, it was a damn.
No, I knew a very few group of people that had them in the industry back then, and it was all of the hip hop cops and the hip hop rap crews that was running on them chirpers heavy. First time I saw one of them chirpers was on a tour bus with Wu-Tang. And it was somebody that used to work with Bad Boy.
Okay. See? Yeah. So I mean, see, the thing is I was about to say, you know, Suge sometimes be capping, but I got to give it to him on this one. You know what I'm saying? The simple fact that Warren G said what he said a couple years ago at this point now, I've been repeating what Warren G said. Yeah.
I told you what Irv Gotti's brother, Chris Lighty, had to tell me back when I interviewed him November 2023 during that fake BB Films deal, when he said that the word was on the street that Snoop was losing friends and about to lose protection, and that he had been hella disloyal, and that he was going to pay. That's what Chris Gotti had to say about Snoop back in 2023.
Wow.
And you know, Chris Gotti, him and his film company is based out of Vegas.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move ahead.
If you're not going to an event with any of the security details, you don't have a walkie-talkie. Because I didn't buy that many because I wanted to be exclusive. They hand them out who was needed. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so Snoop comes in, according to Warren G, and he got this big walkie-talkie. They start hearing the gunshots. When we getting shot, Snoop listening to it in real time. Pow, 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 all over the radio. That's when he tell him, hey, I gotta go. They just killed Tupac and shot Suge. How would you know? Nobody sat there on the radio. You just heard the shots. Now, Reggie Wright Jr. and Michael Moore in the car. They get on the radio, and they say, hey, got him. Another guy gets on the radio. They say they think he's a white guy or a lawyer, and they said, "Hey, don't talk on the walkie-talkies on the radio. Don't talk on the air." Right? So to move things forward, maybe, I don't know if it was 6 months or longer, however it was, since I've been in this prison right here. Somebody played that for me with Michael Morstead. So when I know that attorney David Kenner always says, you can be on your cell phone and people be talking to me like, "Hey, don't talk on your cell phone. Somebody listening. They recorded and you can't do that. They're listening to you." So I know that's his saying. So jokingly, I told David, I said, "Hey, was that you on the walkie-talkie? Because that's your line. Don't talk on the phone. Now you the one saying don't talk on the walkie-talkie." So that being said, David Kenner goes and says, "Sure, I never had a walkie-talkie. I would never have a walkie-talkie. Would I need one for it? Never." So I'm saying, wow, he's so bent out of shape, but I was joking about it, right? I said, "You never had a walkie-talkie?" He said, "That's not me talking on a walkie-talkie." I never said he was talking on the walkie-talkie. So that raised red flags. Didn't think that much about it. So Kenner had sent some of my boxes and files to another attorney. Yeah, another attorney got them, right? At the time, he wanted the boxes back. That didn't make sense. So when we discovered a walkie-talkie in the boxes, nobody puts something in the box that they're going through the exact same way. So the walkie-talkie, my guess, probably was in one box. And when they looked at everything and reading through everything, and they was asking me about this walkie-talkie, they had put it in another box. Kenner, a guy named Steve that works for Kenner, went and grabbed the boxes from another lawyer he has it. Went and stole the wrong boxes that the walkie-talkie was in, but we still got the walkie-talkie. I said, "Send me a picture of it." So on my tablet, they can send photos, so they sent me a photo of the walkie-talkie. It blew me away. One part of me, it made my blood boil. Another part of me, I just seen Tupac's face flash all in my mind. I said, these motherfuckers is involved with the assassination. So I tell Kenner about it. I said, "David Kenner,
Are we going to fair use?
you said you didn't have a walkie-talkie.
Fair use, of course.
Now you had one." So after that, our relationship after 30-some years went cold. He went and told the judges. He started trying to pull off my case. He tried to sabotage my case. He did, and everything I'm telling you about is the proof.
So ultimately, Suge, look, it's fascinating stuff because I remember this all happening in real time. So it's fascinating just to hear you talk it all through in this way. It's like a sort of murder mystery episode. But ultimately, I've got two questions. Do you believe Diddy had anything to do with it? Because it sounds to me like you're more convinced that Snoop Dogg had more to do with it. Was Diddy involved at all, do you think? And if it wasn't him, then who do you think ultimately ordered that hit?
Okay, he's going to get, first off, thanks, Archangel Michael. We appreciate that. Aussie dollars is more than these American dollars. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to you, bro.
Salute, Michael.
And yeah, he's going to get into the conversation where Prince, because you remember he talked about Prince and Prince being like practical joker. So now I'm not saying that. Oh yeah, Prince had jokes. I thought Dave Chappelle was joking when he was saying about what he was saying about Prince on, not Dave Chappelle, but Murphy.
Yeah. They were telling the truth.
That was straight comedy. Now on the flip side, well, my barber, the one, your barber, right? So that whole story that came out about Michael Jackson beating up Tupac.
Yeah.
So people really ran with that story, thought it was true, but that was all cap. Like people be saying stuff just to be saying things or whatever. Pretty much. It's kind of like when people have passed on and they can't really tell the story, you really can't believe it. But they ran with a story saying that Tupac got beat up by Michael Jackson because of Quincy Jones' daughter. But
he got her.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done that.
Right. But
He
this
wouldn't
is
have
a,
done that. Not for Q.
right. But this is a different situation. So he's going to get into the story of Prince sitting them all down at the table.
This is the thing. This is what I do know. I know Keefy D, who I've been knowing just a little Pop Warner football. Keefy D says that Puffy and them approached him and gave them money. Keefy D says if he go to prison for, this is his words. Keefy D says if he go to prison for the Tupac murder, Reggie Wright Jr. gonna go to prison for Biggie's murder. So all these things going back and forth. Who knows what? Absolutely what? What we do know, money was paid out. What we do know, according to these guys, to the police, not the police are actually doing the investigation, the cricket cops. You got to remember.
Did you ever ask Diddy directly if he'd been involved?
Well, that question would be no. Since all this happened, I never had a situation to have a conversation with Puffy. Majority of the time, Puffy see me, he going out the back door or going down the street somewhere. Only time that I ever had a conversation with Puffy, and it wasn't even a real conversation, I was at the Roosevelt Hotel having dinner. Somebody came over to my table and said, Prince wants you to come watch his show right now. I said, Prince performing? I said, yeah. And Prince a real gangster. Prince, he liked the bullshit. So I go in and they set me at a table with Puffy, Nas, a few other people. Prince playing his guitar, and he walked to the table and looked at me, looked at Puffy, and started laughing. You could tell he planned the whole thing. Next thing I know, I lean over and tell Puffy a few words, and before I can finish my sentence, Puffy gets up, his people gets up, and they cover him with coats and run him out the hotel.
And what were the words you said to him before he ran?
You got a lot of explaining to do. Rat well, I ain't gonna cuss on your show.
Well, he done already cussed on the show. Yeah. Yeah,
Well, apparently MF is considered an official Suge Knight curse word.
Okay, well, yeah. But yeah, let me see. Hold on.
Word to the mother. Oh my goodness.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna move forward because I wanted to get to a point where he is right here. Let me see, 20 minutes where he talks about these higher ups.
Reggie were lovers. Is that what you said?
Oh wait, hold on.
Wherever it's supposed to be.
Hold on. Before we go there.
Fair use.
Just the Ray for a
He
moment.
tells a lot of stuff, and it's not up to me to tell the story because that's Ray J's story. But Ray J and Puffy definitely were lovers. Puffy allegedly gave him $10 million to, to an album. They never put one song of two brothers loving each other, whatever it's supposed to be.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Right. Say that again.
The question is who hit it? No, the question is who hit it first?
Oh, who really hit
it? The diddler or the dashing?
Who really hit it first? Wait, say that again, Suge.
About the murder of Tupac and the attempted murder of you. I mean, that's a dramatic encounter.
Yeah, it's a big world, but it's a small circle.
Mm-hmm.
Ray J and Puffy was closer and closer. And Ray J tells a lot of stuff, and it's not up to me to tell the story because that's Ray J's story. But Ray J and Puffy definitely were lovers. Puffy allegedly gave him $10 million.
Yeah. That's what they are. Try so hard to fight how they feel.
So
they both.
It makes sense that Ray J was on yesterday talking about some free Puffy.
Mm-hmm.
Free Puffy, free Puffy. Yeah, he's like, free my boyfriend.
Sweet meat. You know, it's so funny because, you know, Suge just, you know, I don't know if that was a sneak diss or not when he said that the circles are so small. You know,
Yeah.
usually that's what happens with anal love.
Oh my God.
Well, they're
What-
supposed to be,
what-
unless you get to the
God.
Peachy Man era.
All right. I'm about
And
to
then
mute
the
you, 'cause
I'm
see-
sorry.
Jesus Christ. All right.
You know, to an album, they never put one song of two brothers loving each other, or whatever it's supposed to be.
Two brothers.
You know, it's just, to me, we have so much. If you look at all the bad things in hip hop, when it's all said and done, it comes from
Just
the higher up.
just to be clear, what I think you just said, Suge, you just said that Diddy and Reggie were lovers. Is that what you said? Ray J.
I said Ray J and Puffy was lovers.
Really?
Yeah,
Was that well known?
Really?
of course.
Well, at least we know, considering what they saying about the Diddler's manhood, you know, it wasn't too much pain on Rayford.
God. Okay. All right.
Just a bite size worth of fun.
God damn it.
But ultimately, Suge, do you believe that Diddy and/or Snoop Dogg were directly involved in that shooting?
I believe that I'm putting it to you like this. When you take Death Row, you take Bad Boy. Puffy and I was friends. When Puffy would come to LA, I could pick him up from the airport a lot of times, we'd hang out. If I do an event in New York, Puffy then came to my event and DJ the whole night for free. So you can't say we wasn't friends.
Pause.
But
I gotta pull a Dana
later
Dash
on,
pause.
right?
Pause.
I find it funny how nobody's paying attention to the fact that Puff infiltrated Suge, pretended to be a friend, just so he could allegedly or potentially line him up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's looking like to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'm trying to get to like a pertinent part because
Come on.
Y'all know it's
I
getting
just wanted to throw that out there right
it's
fast.
getting a little spicy. Hold on.
People from Death Row and people from Bad Boy, regardless if they securities or not, they remain friends. And I didn't tell my people you shouldn't. I'm quite sure Puffy didn't tell his people they shouldn't. I don't think. I'm not in his head. But I do know this. We was going to an event, the Soul Train Awards. When we was going to the Soul Train Awards, me and Pac was in one car. We had a bus and a whole bunch of more cars. It probably was 100 deep. But everybody had tickets. Reggie Wright Jr., who's head of security for us, called Bad Boy people
Uh-huh.
and the police
Who?
who's doing security for the Soul Train Awards and said, hey, only let Suge Knight and Tupac in because they got almost 100 guys with them. You don't want no problems. So eventually, our guys had to bust past the police. He wanted me and Tupac to go in there and fight all those guys by ourselves. They even pulled guns, right? But our guys came in, and that's what happened, right? When you look at that situation, and you look at it's a guy named Gene who does security for Puffy.
Uh-oh. All right. See, this all I really wanted to do was get up to this part. Then it's I mean, Suge just goes in, right? But then he brings Gene into the situation, and it's kind of like, wait, why are you bringing Gene up? Because of his relationship to Reggie Wright, allegedly?
See, this is the thing. This is a hip hop firing squad. He's literally hitting everybody.
He got the AK. He just came out.
I don't want to see you go to jail, but I hope you go to hell.
He's like, yeah, Puffy don't deserve to be in jail, but
Like, can you imagine Suge Knight turning into Samuel Jackson if he were to go to the trial and testify? Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
I mean, if Ray J could say free free Diddy, I'm like, well, free Suge, because in all honesty, like I'm not a Suge Knight hater, I'm not a Suge Knight lover, but I'm like, Suge, they did do him dirty. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying the whole industry did him dirty.
But see, it's the reason why they did him dirty that matters. Just to say that they did him dirty is one thing. And salute, Jim Brown. It's good to see you again, too. But let's just be very, very clear. The reason all of this stuff happened after Suge tried to put that meeting together to get an independent black distribution company going.
There you go.
And then next thing you know, all of this happened. Just like with Sam Cooke. He tried to get James Brown and everybody together. And Sammy Davis, Snoop Davis Jr. came, and said, man, leave it go, man. I'm promising you it's not going to turn out good. And right before he was about to sign the deal to be able to claim his royalties, no different than Angie Stone was trying to reclaim her royalties, no differently than I want to reclaim my royalties. All of a sudden he passes away and Sam Cooke's fortune gets handed off to, the white man of a certain ethnic background that was trying to shut him down and was the one that sent Sammy to go talk to him. I mean, I could take that and we could draw a line straight to Tory Lanez. Trying to create freedom for black artists to not have to be, subject to, financial slavery for the hard work that they do. And look at him. Like, all of this is anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? Let me move forward, because we were talking about Gene, but I don't want to get into that because it's definitely something else.
Well, this is the thing.
I think
if we don't play it, if we don't listen to it, then we're going to be accused of being biased.
Oh, no. I'm not saying not. Let's not listen.
I think everybody knows our relationship with Gene. We have no issues with Gene. Honestly, I'm a little disgusted at what they're doing to Gene and rope-a-doping him up with this courthouse business. But at the same time, I have to say one thing that nobody's looking at. Jaguar Wright showed up to the courthouse with a 4-man detail. And even though there was a little dust up, because I had that detail, nothing touched me, and no one was able to. Because if I didn't have a security detail there, that guy would have tried to find a way to muscle up on you, muscle up on me, create a whole crash out moment, and then TMZ would have had that to run with.
TMZ's guy, because that was a TMZ guy, allegedly.
I do believe it. I believe it. In my opinion, I think it was, but I'm just saying, if Gene had came, even though Gene is the muscle, you can only do so much as one person.
Right.
Any freak can catch you on your blind side. You know what I mean? Any of these weirdos. If Gene had came up there with a full security detail, I bet you that wouldn't have happened.
Not at all.
Just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Gene, somebody said Gene went off earlier and said he sees how corrupt YouTube is. Yeah, we're gonna have to chop it up with Gene because I kind of want to play that video where Donna T, aka Donat, I call him Donna T because
you want to show did you see that thing when he crashed out for views before?
Yeah, but I don't want to play it because I don't want to get a copyright strike. I'm just letting everybody know that.
Well, it ain't his content.
Well, still, y'all.
Yeah, but considering who it is.
Yeah, y'all can look it up. Donna T.
You know what? I'll put it on my community
There
page
you
so
go.
you don't have to worry about it. I'll just post it so people can see it. But you were
guys,
saying?
you guys check out the community page on the Jaguar Right Effect so you can see what we're referring to. But Donna T went after another YouTuber, Armand Wiggins, at an event, and it caused a dust up. And I think that's what he was expecting when he went after Gene. He wanted his moment.
Because his channels are dying and nobody really gives a damn. And he's running out of money in New York. So he decided, and see, this is the thing. When it happened, there were other content creators that were there to make sure that it got to YouTube immediately so that they could turn it into something. It was a plan. And it wasn't just done by him. And I'm saying that.
Yep.
This was an entire play. And, and then I realized I didn't even know that Donate to Me, because that's what I call them now. Donate to Me, Ricketts, was down with Mob Radio, which is Milagro Grams.
That's a very interesting connection. Yeah.
Very interesting connection.
Yeah. Very interesting. But no, we're not gonna bypass what he says about Gene. It's interesting. So he done already threw Dr. Dre in the mix, Reggie Wright in the mix, Puffy in the mix, Snoop
Secret
in the mix.
Lovers,
Rayford in the mix.
Dick in the mix.
Gene is all in the mix now.
Let me see, get Tootsie Roll. That Tootsie Roll. That Tootsie Roll.
I don't want to see that shit. To the left.
Apparently, that's the next remix that Ray J needs to do. But who else did he throw in the mix? No, because let's not forget, he brought Snoop into the mix. He talked about Daz. He talked about everything that, like, he going off.
I don't see this Rico thing. This is why I'm doing this, because I don't see the Rico thing
going away
no time soon. No, not at all.
See, this is the thing. Everything. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just saw. Thank you, Auntie Leah, for taking out the trash so quickly. Appreciate you.
Oh, what happened?
I guess Titty Man with the gambling problem decided he wanted to pull up. And I don't know. It's so funny. I mentioned Milagro Grams and he just instantly he appears. I wonder if that's because he's busy trying to see how he can get the information that I leaked this morning that I was going to be dropping a bomb about Milagro Grams and he's looking for some content.
Oh man.
Go feast on an all-you-can-eat platter at Circus Freak. Okay, now.
Thank you, Auntie.
Say we don't play with them, huh? We don't play with the trolls.
Shout out to everybody here. We're in here deep. I appreciate everybody here. And we're just going over this interview.
And we could use 30 more likes, guys. 30 more likes. Let's keep it going. Let's make sure those views and those likes is matching.
This interview that Suge just did with Piers, and now we're at the point where Suge Knight is mentioning Reggie Wright and Gene Deal. And we just got word that Gene Deal went live, and he's very disgusted with these YouTubers. And we're going to touch up on that a little bit too in regards to how they're playing out here in the YouTube streets. But I think Jag will probably do more of that.
Wow.
I think so. Like more of the talking about the Milagro, Mob Radio, Donna T, the connection.
Well, we're gonna be doing that on the pods.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right.
I already started knocking some of that out. I had a little bit more research to do, and it was funny when I ran into that whole, donate to me, and his connection to Mob Radio.
That was Shout out to Straight Juicy 34. Thanks for becoming a member.
My. Yes, welcome. You're a member. You're a West Sider.
The recordings say, what people say, and what the proof is. what Reggie Wright Jr. says. By the way, I always say this because he likes me to call him Pork Butt because he happy about that because that's the name Park gave him.
I think we're gonna call the person that got kicked out. That's gonna be their new name, Pork Butt.
Pork Butt says.
Pork
Is
butt. I'm sorry.
Bad
It
Boy
just-
guys called Reggie Wright Jr. to hire him to do security for Biggie and Puffy and them. I don't know what time it was. I was in county jail that Biggie got shot and later died. And I was trying to figure out how is it, why would they call Reggie Wright Jr. when he worked for us?
That's
And more importantly, why is Gene and Reggie Wright Jr., according to Reggie Wright Jr. own words, that they still friends? I know that Reggie Wright Sr.
Salute LHX.
is
Thanks
higher
for
up
the donation.
in the sheriff. I mean, he might have been a lieutenant.
Has
or whatever.
anybody, Suge, has anybody told you that Diddy was involved?
I'm not even throwing nobody in the bus, but you know.
No, I'm not asking you to
Reggie
name
Wright
them.
Jr. and
I'm
his
not
father
asking you.
said so.
I'm not
At
asking
first.
you. I'm not saying. I'm not asking you for
okay,
a
well,
name.
this is the thing. They said that. TPD said that. It's a check says that. But at the same time, like I said before, just what you got to really understand. They took Reggie Wright Sr., who's over the gang. You don't know Compton better than anyone.
Okay, let me pause there because
Reggie Wright Sr. was a notorious person in Compton, and there's a lot that went on with Reggie Wright Sr. Compton had its own police department at one point. They were so corrupt they had to
Dismantle it.
disband it. Yes, they had to disband it, and they had to bring the sheriffs in. Now, Compton has been its own municipality for 100-some years. And shout out to the first black mayor of Compton, Douglas Dollarhide, where he integrated the police department. Because it was all, it was pretty much, blacks over here, whites over here. He made black officers ride with white officers and all that, and he was the first one to like integrate the city in that fashion.
Yeah.
And God, who
You
was the
talked
brother?
you told me a lot about Dollarhide.
Dollarhide was the man, y'all. Like, man,
Remember how funny it was when we were talking and you were telling me about Dollarhide, and I said I thought it so funny that was the name of Francis Dollarhide. That was the name of the serial unaliver in the whole Red Dragon, the Silence of the Lambs trilogy, saga, whatever you call.
Yeah.
But in Red Dragon, he was Francis Dollarhide, and I said that's so funny because they kind of wiped away the memory of Dollarhide in Compton, but it became a recognizable name again as a monster in a horror film. It was wild.
Well, it's same thing. They made his name infamous with a horror film, but then also they made Compton almost infamous as just a horror place because the Compton Boulevard went from all the way to Manhattan Beach. It stretched all the way over, even into it passed Paramount. Where did it go? Like that boulevard Compton was known. It was that boulevard. You could go from Manhattan Beach to all the way damn near to, I forget exactly where. I think it's Whittier, I forget. But Compton got such a bad name after the 70s that Paramount said, we're not going to call this street Compton anymore. We're going to change it to Somerset. So Compton name was so bad, even the newspapers were in such, in the newspapers were in cahoots with the whole denigration of Compton. So if there was an incident, a murder that happened, it would be like, it could be in Gardena. They would say, this happened near Compton. Everything would be Compton. Now, anything that's associated with Compton after the 70s, because that's when it became predominantly black, they made it bad. So yeah,
It's so funny. Every time there's a thriving black metropolis, it always becomes compromised in some kind of way.
Yeah. And
You know, because you talk about all of the, black prosperity that was going on in Compton, and it makes me think about the stories of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah. And the reason why I brought up Dollar High, and I brought up he appointed the first black police chief, the first fire chief, the first black superintendent in California.
Before Biden?
Of course, yeah. And what was the guy's name?
That was definitely a jab.
I know. the first black police chief was Cochet. I think his name was Thomas Cochet. Yeah, that was his name. So you got to understand, there's always been like a legacy of just like Compton being proud. I remember let me tell you, I was at Robert F. Kennedy, Jag, when I was like in the first grade, and the police came, and they came and they did like a little demonstration to us kids, and one of the cops was like, hey, which one of you want to volunteer and try to get out this car? And my dumb ass raised my hand, and I get, they put me in the back of the police car, and I'm locked in the damn police car. I couldn't get out, right? But anyway, I'm just saying how there was always just like a tradition, the police department in Compton, and it was great. You know what I'm saying? Just as far as the legacy that Compton had within the police department. But Reggie Wright.
I'm sorry, I'm really just enjoying. Yeah, his father.
Oh man, you enjoying what? Go ahead.
No, I'm just enjoying being, live on a channel that's not my own, and seeing my voice bubble show that it's actually me talking.
It's not AI.
I know.
Now they say AI. It's AI. We're gonna get some shirts made with you just saying it's AI. But former Los Angeles County Sheriff Lieutenant and his son, a former Compton cop, indicted for a cross-country drug and money laundering conspiracy. This is who Reggie Wright Jr., Reggie Wright Sr. is. And yeah,
very controversial.
That's all I gotta say.
Like,
about
do you remember when we sat down with your OG last year?
Yep.
And when we asked about Reggie Wright Sr., because that was his contemporary era of, LA. He pretty much said, I plead the fifth.
Right. Man, just disgrace. There's certain people that just bring disgrace to Compton. I'll just say it like that.
Okay, and apparently to hip hop.
Well, there we go. That's what Suge is saying in the beginning. He said there's a lot of corrupt cops that are involved in this hip hop ish, and they've messed it all up. So yeah. I'm gonna move forward because I think Suge starts to talk about 50 Cent too. He mentions 50 and the fact that 50 said Puffy was trying to get him killed. I think that.
50 always saying something.
They can get Puffy telling people they want to kill me. They can say they come in with guns to kill me. They can say they come in to do this. They can have people who shot me in one Oak do songs about shooting me. If you look at those people, who is those people in bed with? That's the question. It comes back to Puffy. If the FBI can tell me that they trying to kill me, and the authorities can say they're trying to kill me, and I've been shot different occasions, and the very first time that they try to kill me, and I get away, and somebody happens to die, and I get to go to prison, when you really look at it, Puffy had sex with too many higher-up people in the industry. I'm not talking about women to get convicted. That's what I mean.
You're talking about senior male record company executive.
Exactly.
Yeah, people almost as powerful as Rupert Murdoch.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
Let me just finish by asking you this.
That came in, right? That came in on the money. Boom!
Extraordinary. Right. That's his, because that's his buddy. Right. Extraordinary.
Uh-huh.
You were there when one of the all-time most famous music icons was killed. You were sitting next to him. What was the last thing that Tupac said to you?
Oh, this is so Oprah.
Well,
Yeah, I know. I'll
the
put
crazy
that
thing
to it.
about talk bad about Tupac. Talk about he was raped, he was a punk, he was scary, he was stupid.
Wait a
All these
minute.
things are
Rewind that
definitely not
part.
true.
Rewind that part.
All right.
Know his father. So when everybody was laughing, said he want to commit suicide, I
Oh,
called him.
he's talking about Reggie. Hold on. He does talk about Reggie right here where
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah,
Hold
what?
on.
Yeah.
Always told me God loves me. And I know I'm not perfect. And I take accountability to everything I do. And I listened to my mother to try to make myself better, to improve myself. And I'm going to say this, and it's very important I say this because it's true. Some people can't be helped. There's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr., and I say this guy's name a lot because he keeps lying all over the internet about Tupac. And he know what he did. So
Salute, Tammy. Thank you.
when I knew that he was trying to kill himself because he can't walk and he got to wear steamy shoes to make himself better,
He
he
talking
got a
about-
great mother. I even know his father. So when everybody was laughing and said he want to commit suicide, I called him to give me some encouragement. He goes and take that to be negative and try to bring down everyone, mainly because he hates Tupac. If anybody had a lot of involvement of the Tupac situation, I know Perk Bud had his hands in it. I know the fact that people can get a show and call it Bomb First behind Tupac's fame in his songs. And every person they bring on that show talks bad about Tupac. Talk about he was raped, he was a punk, he was scary, he was stupid. All these things are definitely not true. This person involvement of assassination of Tupac Shakur. I do know one
Who
thing.
fired him?
Crooked cops destroyed hip hop.
Mm.
When I talked to Tupac and I said, look, man, you and Biggie need to do an album together on Death Row, of course. We can make it 4 CDs in one package. Reason why I said that, I was in the hotel room, me and Tupac. All the bitches was, in the bedroom, in the living room, the penthouse talking. And he was on the phone with Biggie. When they having their conversation, I didn't see enemies. I seen that Tupac was hurt because he loved Biggie. And I knew Biggie loved Tupac. The reason we bothered Tupac so much about Biggie because he felt Biggie set him up when he got shot in the studio in New York. And that's all he wanted to say. But Biggie, I used to beg a bitch to let you sleep on the couch. Biggie, I always held you down. You my brother. At least you was my brother. And then now he put the Biggie on speaker. And you can see Biggie telling Pac, I would have never set you up and, get shot. That wasn't me. And then to the point where, to one point, he sort of threw Puffy in the bus. And the reason why I say sort of, because he said, Pac, you my man. He said, that's more like well, he said, I ain't gonna say all that. Basically.
All right, I'm gonna leave it there because Suge said so much, but
of course he's not trying to be dragged and drug into this case.
It really reminded me of what I said on Blue Couch in the Truth Suit. with my haircut low. Yeah. I ain't touching that.
Yeah.
I ain't touching that. I already said it.
Yeah.
I already said it last year.
Yeah. No need to touch it. No need to say anything. I think we've covered enough. I don't want to get too much into it. I mean, for what y'all didn't hear, you could go check it out on Pierce's channel if you want. But overall, though, yeah, we just had to touch.
I'm blocked. I'm blocked.
Oh, he blocked you.
Yeah, he blocked me.
Wow.
I can't add him.
This punk ass.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Say Suge's not. You say what? Suge not playing. He's telling on everyone. As he should.
You want to know what's funny though?
I'm not mad at him.
Everything that he's saying is making this Rico look a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Like he said this on News Nation, and he said this on Piers. This is going to hit at least 10 million people over the course of the next 3 to 4 days. The weekend is coming. Court is about to adjourn tomorrow. They got a whole weekend to research some of this. Whole weekend. Yeah, Kurt Burrows. I mean, the thing is everything that he's saying says collusion on a higher level.
Right.
And we're talking about people with law enforcement background, people with law enforcement connection. You know, it's we're not talking about the fact that Tupac Shakur was not only Black Panther legacy, but Black Panther. We're talking about a lot.
Yeah.
Even though we ain't talking about it at all.
No. Shout out to Suge. I that's all I'll say. And like I said,
very rarely is my mouth left open with not much to say. Upon watching it,
Suge holds a lot of secrets. Suge holding a lot of secrets, and
Suge holds a lot of history.
Yeah,
they're not secrets. They're only secrets if people give them. If people keep secrets.
So let
Suge
me
holds
rephrase.
a lot of relevant history. Whether or not he chooses to share it with us, then let's be grateful for what we get. But it's no secret, because with all the people that he mentioned, including 50 Cent, who I'm still not understanding how he hasn't been subpoenaed or indicted yet, because he seems to know a lot about a lot and don't ever say nothing. He seems to have a lot of things that are never
allegedly 50 kind of like Jay, he's got y'all, about Jay, about Jigga Man and his connections, so
well, I hear 50 been auditioning for the Kingmaker spot.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that plays out. We'll definitely.
It's not going to play out at all. What he's doing in Louisiana is absolutely disgusting, and he will pay. That I believe in my heart.
So yeah, I think
I'm tired of Periwinkle.
I think Suge done shook the table, and I think a lot of people are about to, like, even Reggie came out with, we're gonna release. I'm gonna release this audio. I have some audio that I'm gonna release it. Like he's Reggie. Oh,
Reggie had a response to this.
Yeah, he already not a response to this. But he had a response to the News Nation clip that came out last night. Where
he better revamp, remix.
He gonna have to remix and because I mean, yesterday this is Suge. Suge said that the Capricorn Clark situation, where Capricorn Clark played a role. I mean, well, Reggie played a role in Biggie's death. So this is what he said on the last interview, and he said Capricorn Clark had sex with Reggie Wright, made her have sex with him because she couldn't pay for a broken windshield she broke.
Well, and, that's a hell of a way. And
remember
I said the 101 in his wheelchair need to have a
Yeah,
convocation.
yeah.
But you know, my thing is, and this is the thing that I'm really not liking. I'm not liking the fact that I don't think anyone is realizing that Suge has had a lot of questions throughout the years that the past year have answered for him. And all that history that he got is nothing but a finely sharpened sword, and he can cut whoever he like. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's my final thought on it.
There you go.
I think he about to cut.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I just hope.
Well, if he ain't gonna say something, can Kanye please say something?
Yeah, I'm ready. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see how this all plays out. And then we're not even talking about the Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion connection with the cartels and the Jigga Man. I'm gonna do something on my own on that one. You're welcome to come in and talk about that too. But I think that's gonna be my next thing this weekend, because all this new stuff is coming out about Meg and Tory, and there's more people coming out saying, yeah, this is what's going on.
More like Meg and Rock Nation.
Well, there we go. Yeah,
because that's really what it is.
So when Suge says that law enforcement is so embedded and so corrupted and did a whole lot with hip hop, bro, he ain't lying. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. He's just talking about some stuff that happened back then. If we move it forward,
he just flicking water at people's face right now, just to see them stick their tongues out.
Yeah.
When he make it rain, it's gonna hurt.
Well, Angel, Sugar's all over the place, because you got to understand, I think he only had so many minutes.
That interview was close to an hour, so Suge had like 15-minute increments that he had to talk.
He crammed a lot in.
Yeah, he had to. So
I tell you, hip hop commentary is getting a little smarter.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all.
Man.
That's it. That's all. I think that's
it.
Like, I ain't got nothing.
That was a lot.
That man. Yep.
That was a lot.
Suge.
That was a lot for me.
Suge is, man. I'm looking. I'm gonna be looking for Suge Knight interviews like I'll be looking for Jaguar Wright interviews.
Yo, Jim Brown, real rap. The reason why you're hearing people say similar things, especially people who have no connection, because Suge, I avoided him no different than I avoided Puff. Like I always said, my loyalty was to Miss Chalet. And I always hated how she became sideswiped by fame and power. You know,
that's a
lot of her career was wrapped up in power struggles about what was happening above her, while all she wanted to do was make music and tour and be a great mom, you know. And her association with Andre Young and with Suge, it really did a number just on her overall. And imagine what it's like to be a top charting R&B star who kind of gets minimalized because of a fake East Coast, West Coast war. And she was connected to the bosses. Like, I don't think anybody ever really considered the burden that came along with that.
But I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna end it on this. I'm gonna end mine right here. That relationship stuff, the Suge, Dre, her. I'm gonna set it up. You guys are gonna talk. All right, we're gonna set this interview up. I want y'all to talk, because I don't get into that mess. That's why I always say don't be going in on Dre. I'm not a big Dre fan, but I say don't go in on Dre, because it's a lot more to the story than she says. And
listen to me. I know there's a lot more to the story than she says. I'm not saying that she's some kind of angel. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is is I know what kind of artist she is.
Yeah, I know. She's dope.
And I know her heart
Yeah,
beyond the game. And sometimes when good people are trapped in bad situations, they make the choices necessary to survive what they've chosen.
exactly. I get it though. I get you. I understand. Well, look, y'all be ready. We're gonna have that pull up where Jaguar Wright pulls up on me, Chalet. That's coming soon. All right, y'all. If y'all ready for that, definitely hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. Y'all know what it do. I appreciate everybody.
By the way,
Margie,
what these likes looking like? We got 104. Can we get like 15, 20 more before we go? Come on,
I
y'all.
don't
Let's
even
go.
know how
West
many we got.
Side.
I don't even
I
know how many
check.
we got.
I know what we got.
Okay.
And we need 20 more. At least 20 more. Come on, y'all.
But yeah,
Double hit that screen. Hit that like.
Jag and Michelle A coming soon. I'm definitely gonna make that happen because we've been saying we was gonna make that happen. It's just now's a good time. Now's a very good time. And yeah, let's make it do what it could do. All right, y'all. I done already stopped the music because all my quarters had ran out. Y'all hit the like button. All right. You say, oh, have a great time. Brink twice. Jag's gonna do a lot more on the Patreon. So if y'all ain't Patreon, I think y'all gonna be missing out on a few things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Jag is back. Y'all know what it do. All right.
All right.
Peace.
West Side.
Wolf gang, where you at, man?